All right, y'all. This is part two. I don't know how to increase the time on here, so I only got a few minutes. So I just do this in two parts until I can learn how to get more time, I guess, by getting more views. But that's neither here or there. I want to continue to elaborate a little bit about the ending the cycles that you experience in your life, the things that you notice. Hopefully you're to a place where you can recognize that this is a cycle, that God is opening up the eyes of your understanding, that you're able to realize things that are not normal, to understand that it's a cycle. So when these cycles and stuff present themselves in your life and you notice that there's a cycle, find out where in your life that you need to surrender. You may surrender this category over here, you may surrender this, but then there's still something left that needs to be surrendered unto the Lord. So you have to figure out what it is for you that needs to be surrendered to God, because the cycle will never end until we begin to be obedient to what the Lord is instructing us to do. Okay? And something I wanted to share that I heard, and it really made me think, says empty spaces invite intrusion. Think about that. Empty spaces invite intrusion. So if you got your mind and it's just empty, meaning that you don't have the word in there, you don't have nothing to come back the word with, or you're not even speaking the word if you never even know the word, and you're not utilizing the tools and the weapons that God has given you and I. So empty spaces invite intrusion. You ever think about, if you see places that are empty, that are vacant, what happens? People just move in uninvited. You may have the people on the street that don't have a home. They may move in it. You'll have creatures and animals and stuff that find their way in. Why? Because it's not being occupied. It's not being occupied. Now, if you're living in a place and you live in a wooded area like we do here, and you occasionally will get a creature in your house, to come in some kind of way, what do? You don't just invite it in and just welcome it in and y'all just sit down and dine together. No, you setting traps. You doing what you got to do to get that creature up out the house. It can't stay here. Like I said, we live in a wooded area. My dad has said in a minute, oh, you can't stay here. We're finna put down some sticky traps, finna do something, because you can't stay here. You're not welcome. So we have to have enough of the word of us, spending time with God, so that when the enemy comes, and he will, that when the enemy comes, you have something to combat. You have some traps to put out. You have something to spray. You got something that you can combat the enemy with, because he can only do what we allow him to do. He don't have the authority to come in unless we give him that authority by our disobedience unto Christ. So remember that empty spaces invite intrusions. Fill your heart and your mind with God's word, so that when the enemy comes, when the intruder comes, when those so-called friends that's coming masked as friends, coming masked as, this, that, and the third, you'll be able to recognize. Okay? So, and this is something else to think about. You don't chase darkness out. You just simply turn on the light. You don't have to chase darkness out. Just turn on the light. What is the light? You're the light. God's word is the light. Speaking his word with authority that he has given you. But see, if we timid, if we feel like that, we still living in shame of something, we still got unforgiveness in our heart, then you're not going to believe that you have the power to speak these things. You're not going to believe it's not going to be effective when you're holding on to unforgiveness. That's why it's important to let that go. So you cannot enforce what you don't believe. You ever seen people selling something? Some people are great sellers of what they sell. But if you don't know nothing about the product, it's going to be hard for you to sell that product if you don't know anything about it. If you don't use the product yourself, if you don't, hadn't did any background on it, any studies on it, hadn't researched it or anything, it's going to be hard for you to sell that product because you don't know anything about it. All right? So you cannot enforce what you don't believe. That means you can't combat the negativity that comes your way if you don't have anything in the word to combat it with. That's why it's important to get in the word. It's okay to watch a TikTok. It's okay to go in here and watch YouTube and get your word, but get in the word so that you can know. Like God told me a few years ago, grow from the grain. The grain is his word. All right? Grow from the grain. So like I told you in the other video, the enemy watches your patterns, not the moments. That's how he keep tripping you up with the same thing. You got to change the way you think, the way you process things. I know some people, they live by that. Something happen, bad happen. Oh, well, you know, stuff happen in threes. Or, you know, it's always negative. Well, don't speak that over me. I don't believe they call it this person that, this person that. Contrary to what it may look like in the past, I'm not going to be declaring that. If you're not declaring something positive, and that's another thing. Don't be praying for people if you're going to be talking about them too. Just like, for instance, don't even pray for me in my situation if you still gonna be talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you talking and you lifting it up and you trying to, you know what I'm saying, do something, you know, positive, and you really trying to help the situation, that's okay. But don't pray for me and then gossip about me too. Please, just don't even do it. How do you even feel it in your inside and your knowing? And we're going to talk about love on another video, because I'm going to have to figure out I can get some more time on that one, because I got to tell you some things that the Lord has told me, you know, and sharing me about love, because I'm telling you, a lot of times we don't want to show that love when we've been hurt. We want to have that get back spirit. And then you want to claim that you a child of God, and you know God will fight your battles, but yet you trying to fight your own battles, and you want to know why you keep enduring the circle. You keep enduring the cycle. You keep going through round and round, round and round. At some point, the bulb have to go off, and you have to say, you know what? I got to change. We cannot keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. And this ain't no overnight thing, so I suggest you start today. Because, baby, I've been working at this thing for some years. Years. So let's work on being better. We're not trying to be saying that we're better than anybody else, but every day you should be progressing. You should be trying and striving to do what it is that God has called you to do. And you know, and forgiveness will hold you back. Unforgiveness, will hold you back. So understand that when we forgive, we break emotional contracts that keeps that cycle alive. So if you look up and you've been enduring a cycle, and every time you look up, something is going on. First of all, change what you're saying. Every time I turn around, something happened. Every time I turn around. But then stop being surprised every time you turn around and something going on. You already decreeing it. You declaring it. We got to watch our words, people. I know it don't mean much to some, because you think, oh, man, they don't have that much power. But if God can speak, and then there be light. If God can just speak, and all these miraculous things happen, and we're made in his image, come on, your words have power. Your words have power. I know this head can be a little tough sometimes, but I'm getting it, Lord. I'm getting it. And I pray that you get it too. So this is part 2. Remember, the cycle ends when obedience begins. We got to be obedient. Everything, if you change the way that you respond, if you respond different, then you will weaken that cycle, and eventually it will dissipate. I'm your girl, Jocelyn Williams. This is part 2 of learning how to forgive and understanding just a little bit about cycles and why you deal with them. All right? Y'all, get delivered. Set yourself free. Invite God in. Let him help you. You can't do it by yourself. You done tried it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Let God in. I'm your girl, Jocelyn Williams. Y'all be blessed.